I stood on the balcony and looked down. A young Wang Yu-7 pulled up punctually downstairs. The doors opened, and a man and a woman stepped out. The woman was Su Chinking, my wife of 2 years. The man was her newly transferred director, her immediate superior. They exchanged polite pleasantries, shook hands, smiled and nodded. Everything was proper and courteous. After watching Su Chinking walk into the building, the young Wang Yu-7 drove straight away. Click. The front door opened. Did Director Lin drive you home again? I asked. Why aren't you working overtime again today? Su Chinking frowned. Look at Director Lin, the new guy. He's not even 30, and already making $1 million a year. And you? You don't even try to improve yourself. I don't want to struggle through life with someone like you. I can't see any future with you at all. Let's get a divorce. Su Chinking slammed the divorce agreement and a pen down on the coffee table. I met Su Chinking in college. She fell into a river once, and her best friend was screaming for help. No one else was around, so I jumped in and pulled her out. After that, we fell hard for each other. After graduation, we found jobs in the same city and moved in together, naturally enough. A year after graduation, we got married. Less than a year into our marriage, Bai Ningbing quit her job and moved to Zhengcheng too. The man I loved and my best friend were both nearby. I saw them all the time, and we could hang out together on weekends. By all rights, it should have been a steady, happy life. But ever since Director Lin showed up, everything changed. We used to bicker now and then, but if I backed down, we always made up quickly. Now? She brings up Director Lin in almost every other sentence. So you don't even work overtime, but you still let that Lin guy drive you home? I asked. Su Chinking froze, clearly not expecting me to talk back. Then she flew off the handle. You think I'm divorcing you because I'm cheating? I'm leaving because you're a lazy, unambitious man. There's no future with you. Look at you, so petty. You can't keep up with him, so you get jealous. You're not just bad at your job, you're a bad person too. I let out a cold laugh, lit a Lacoon cigarette, and walked into the living room, speaking with every step. Not cheating? If you're not cheating, why does your male boss drive you home every single day? Not cheating? If you're not cheating, why do you have to work late every night? Your lousy clerk job makes 4,000 or 5,000 a month. You really need to stay past 9 every night for that. Su Chinking stepped back 2 paces. How dare you talk to me like that? And how dare you smoke in the living room? I wasn't actually a heavy smoker. I'd picked it up when I first started the job from all the stress. But I always smoked outside, tried not to let the smell get into the apartment. How do you expect me to talk? I blew smoke right in her face, making her cough and sputter. I'm sick and tired of you calling me a loser. 2 years after graduation, I made it to a core technical position, making 13,000 a month. There's no room for promotion right now. Am I not allowed to take it easy for a while? Everything you eat, everything you live in, everything you use, who do you think pays for all of it? And you come home with some random guy every damn night? I'm done with this. Tears welled up in Su Chinking's eyes at once. You're going too far. She spun around, slammed the door, and stormed off, her heels clicking down the hallway until they faded away. I didn't go after her, didn't even look. I sat down casually on the sofa, propped my feet up on the coffee table, and flipped through the divorce agreement. One look and I almost laughed out loud. The house goes to the husband. Cash and furniture go to the wife. Plus an extra 400,000 yuan in emotional damages to the wife. What is she here to clean me out? How did I never realize she was like this? Maybe back in college she'd never had to face real life on her own. I ordered takeout, turned on the TV, and watched the game while drinking beer and eating barbecue. Oh man, life without a wife nagging me is so terrible. Having all this money to myself is just awful. Around 11 that night, a WeChat message came in. By Ningbing. What did you do to Su Chinking? Did you two have a fight? She showed up at my place crying and won't say anything. I glanced at it and didn't bother replying. But she kept texting. Sai, you two should just talk it out. Why fight like this? I don't really know much about relationships. I've never dated anyone, never liked anyone. Annoyed by the constant messages, I just sent her a photo of the divorce agreement. We Getting divorced. Working out the agreement. By Ningbing. The next day after work. A Western restaurant in Zhengcheng. Soft music played and waiters in nice suits moved back and forth. But the music was drowned out by chatter, and the waiters were rushed. In my opinion, places like this, over 200 a head, were totally not worth it. I sat on one side, Bai Ningbing and Su Qingqing on the other. Bai Ningbing checked the prices on Meiwan and winced. This place is so expensive. Can we go somewhere else? Su Qingqing tossed her head. No, it has to be here. That way he'll show he's sincere about apologizing. I pulled the newly drafted divorce agreement out of my briefcase, set it down in front of Su Qingqing, and said, "Forget about sincere or not. This thing between us is over. My parents paid the down payment on the apartment. I paid for the renovations. I've been making the mortgage payments this whole time. And for living expenses, utilities, food, everything, I've covered all of it. You don't owe me anything back. All the bags and clothes I bought you, you can keep those. The savings in the bank as marital property, we split evenly. Now pack your stuff and get out." Su Qingqing stared wide-eyed at the agreement on the table, her hands twisting the fabric of her skirt. She couldn't believe I was serious. I knew exactly what she'd expected. She'd put on her nice makeup and pretty dress, ready to graciously accept my apology, then go home feeling triumphant. But I'd had enough. There was some holiday to celebrate almost every month, and the gifts had to be thoughtful and never repeat. Every now and then she needed a new bag, said bags cured everything. She'd barely carry them twice before they just sat there gathering dust. And no matter whose fault it was, I always had to be the one to back down and apologize first. I could have put up with all that. Until she started comparing me to Director Lin every single day. Until she started working late all the time, and always had him drive her home. I decided I wasn't putting up with it anymore. Every month I dragged this out was another half month of my salary she'd get to take. Bai Ningbing turned to look at Su Qingqing. Su Qingqing's arms were shaking. She couldn't get a word out. Just then a waiter came over, menu in hand, bent down with that standard service smile. "Ready to order, folks?" Bai Ningbing shooshed him, and waved him away quickly. "Sign it." "Why aren't you signing?" I demanded. Su Qingqing flinched and wouldn't meet my eye. It wasn't until I slid the agreement in front of her and told her to move out that she started doing the math. With her 4,000 a month salary, after rent and utilities and food, she'd barely have anything left in Zhengcheng. Faced with losing the safety net I provided, she finally realized she didn't have much going for her on her own. "Honey, that's not what I meant," Su Qingqing said, looking pitiful. "Let's just order first." "Okay." Bai Ningbing had already pulled out her phone and bought a group buy set meal for 3. "Pick what you want. This isn't the place to talk about this stuff." The food was terrible, honestly. The soup was greasy, the beef had no flavor. Not that I was in the mood to enjoy it anyway. When I got home, there were still beer cans from the night before in the living room. I'd thrown out the barbecue trash already, it smelled too strong. Su Qingqing sat on the sofa, hunched over with her head down, none of her arrogance from yesterday left. Bai Ningbing tidied up the cans on the coffee table, stood off to the side, and asked quietly, "Are you two really sure you want a divorce?" "Of course. Gotta make room for millionaire Director Lin, don't I?" I said you. Su Qingqing started to stand up, then sat back down. "That's not what I meant. I'm frustrated that you haven't gotten a promotion yet. Think about it. We graduated over 3 years ago. We're in our mid-20s. We'll be ready to have kids soon, but together we make less than 20,000 a month. How are we supposed to raise a baby?" I was just trying to motivate you. That one made me laugh. I'd brought up having kids before, and her excuse was that she was too young, wanted to have fun first. And all these years since graduation, I'd never once seen her try to save money. All she cared about was making her stupid. WeChat moments looked perfect. And now it was all for our future kid? I don't want to look at you. Sign the papers and let's end this cleanly. I didn't feel like arguing anymore. I just wanted peace. Then Su Qingqing screamed, "I won't. Sign, I won't," and ran off, covering her ears. Bai Ningbing glanced at me. When she saw I wasn't Going after her, she turned and ran after Su Chinking. There was nothing I could do about the divorce. Right now, we'd just have to live apart first. Then my general manager called out of the blue, "There's a training session at headquarters. The person we originally picked can't go. Be at the airport on time tomorrow." "Got it, Manager Zhang." I saluted into the phone, even though he couldn't see me. Opportunities like this usually went to the boss's most trusted people. Outsiders like me, without a fancy degree, usually had to wait years. This was a lucky break, but beggars can't be choosers, right? I packed my bag, took a shower, and went to bed feeling pretty good. Looks like I'm getting a promotion, making more money, and losing the wife. Win-win. I got up early the next day, around 6. While I washed up, I booked a rideshare to the airport. Is this guy crazy? Driving a young Wang for rideshare? I stared at my phone in disbelief as I walked toward the door. Wait a second. It couldn't be that Director Lin guy, could it? I stared at the driver's last name on the screen, and a bad feeling settled in my gut. As soon as I got in and settled down, I saw the man in the driver's seat, gold-rimmed glasses, a perfectly tailored suit, that polished, faintly predatory air about him. He rested a hand on the steering wheel, a faint smile playing at the corner of his mouth. Of course it was him. I'd recognize him even if he was burned to ash. It was Director Lin, the man who'd torn my family apart, whose name I still didn't even know. "Driver Lin, what are you doing driving a Yangwang U7 for ride-sharing?" Director Lin gave a helpless laugh. "All my salary goes straight to my wife. I pick up extra fares for pocket money. I'm heading to the airport to pick someone up anyway." "He has a wife?" I studied him. It made sense, honestly. A successful man in his 30s would never be single unless something was seriously wrong with him. "You have a wife and you still hit on mine?" The thought made my blood boil even hotter. Sure, Su Chinking was foolish and careless on her own. But that didn't mean he was blameless, did it? "Wow, you really know this area like the back of your hand. Don't even need navigation to know which way to turn." A bitter smile crossed Director Lin's face. "Oog! One of my subordinates keeps begging me to drive her home every night. Kills my chances of picking up a fare back this way. She lives right in this neighborhood. Lucky for me, she never asks me to pick her up for work, or I'd lose that fare too." "Oh, right." I sat up straight. I'd been ready to call him out face to face, but now I had no intention of admitting I had anything to do with Su Chinking. To break the awkward silence, I tried making small talk. "This car is really comfortable to ride in." "Haha, yeah. Must have cost a fortune, huh?" "Haha, yeah, you look like a really successful guy." "Hey, I do all right. Can't complain. Bet you make $1 million a year, easy." "Not quite. The company I work for isn't that big. Can't afford $1 million management salaries. But I tell everyone $1 million when they ask." The small talk died down. I got out of the car, exchanged polite pleasantries, shook hands, smiled and nodded, all perfectly courteous. I watched Director Lin drive away, then turned and walked into the airport. After 2 weeks of training and study, I came back. In that time, I'd managed to edge my way into the core team. The general manager had seen what I could do, and my chances of moving up had definitely improved. Su Chinking had been blowing up my phone with messages and calls the first few days, but she'd gone quiet after that. Bai Ningbing hadn't texted me much at first, but then she started sending me Douyin messages about local specialties and snacks from the city I was in. We ended up chatting back and forth on Douyin. When I wasn't in training, I'd go try the little restaurants and street food stalls she'd recommended. She had good taste, a real knack for food, lots of ways to eat things I'd never thought of. The 2 weeks of training flew by. I got home late at night and found Su Chinking in the kitchen, cooking and humming to herself, her phone playing cooking tutorials from some rural food blogger on speaker. She thinks this is gonna win me back? I was a little surprised by how determined she seemed. I hesitated for a second, then knocked on the kitchen doorframe. "Don't bother. Just sign the divorce papers and go." Su Chinking glanced at me, said fine, and went back to cooking. She set 2 dishes and a soup on the table. To my surprise, she could actually cook. The whole time we'd been together, she'd never lifted a finger in the kitchen, but between cooking and agreeing to the divorce, I had no idea what she was playing at. Don't flatter yourself. I'm not cooking this for you. I'm just practicing my cooking, she said, but she still handed me a pair of chopsticks. I'll sign the divorce agreement. I'll move out tomorrow. Wow, you actually bagged Director Lin. I could barely believe it. He'd seemed like such a decent guy. Don't say it like that. It's not bagging him. I was always supposed to be his wife. I just ended up with you first. It's a good deal for you, honestly. Su Chinkin took a bite of food, frowning slightly as she tasted it, like she was looking for flaws. I took a bite too. It was surprisingly good. Back when I first started the job and was working my fingers to the bone, you never cooked for me. Said you had your own career too. Guess I just wasn't worth the effort, huh? Told you so. He's my real husband. You should be glad you gotta have me at all. You punched way above your weight. Su Chinking's leg bounced restlessly under the table. Seeing her in such a good mood put me on edge. She was pretty sure, but pretty enough for a company executive to leave his wife and marry a divorced woman? Especially a guy like Director Lin with a family of his own? But she looked so happy I decided not to ask. After dinner we just sat there, neither of us moving. You ate my food, so you do the dishes, Su Chinking said. An idea popped into my head. No, I don't think so. You do them. Su Chinking? I snorted. I waited on you hand and foot for this long. Is it so bad for you to wait on me once? Think you're some high and mighty phoenix now? Can't even pay me back a little? You. Not like I'm in a hurry. Your little marriage plans stuck with me after all. I leaned back, patted my stomach, swiveled my chair around and turned on the TV. It's not like I've got Director Lin waiting in the wings or anything. Su Chinkin stood up, fuming, finger pointed at me. She sputtered for a second, then finally huffed off to wash the dishes. When she came back with the signed divorce agreement, I glanced at it. Nah. This isn't fair. I don't agree. What do you mean you don't agree? Su Chinkin flushed with anger. This is the divorce agreement you wrote. Come on, it's too one-sided. You've got $1 million a year director lined up. You still want to take half of everything I own? Tell you what. I keep all the cash. You pay me $20,000 as a buyout fee, and leave all those bags of yours here. Just take your clothes and go. Su Chinking threw herself at me, hitting my chest over and over. In your dreams. I was married to you this long and I get nothing? I grabbed both her wrists to hold her still. I caught the faint, warm scent of sweat on her neck and asked, You and Director Lin ever get up to anything behind closed doors? No. Then we're adding another condition. Another what? Another condition. The sky was starting to lighten. Fine. The 20,000's on the house. I lay in bed, twirling 2 bank cards between my fingers. All my savings from the past 2 years, about 80,000 yuan, just like I'd estimated. At my words, Su Chinking froze mid-step as she was leaving, leaning against the wall for support. But she gripped the divorce agreement tighter, then walked away without looking back, off to her wonderful new life. I got up, got dressed, and headed to work. Life fell back into its old rhythm. Wake up, work all day. Wake up, work all day. A few days later, Su Chinking came to pick up her things, and we went to get our divorce certificates together. It had only been 2 days total. Then on Friday, someone knocked on my door again. I opened it. Bai Ningbing was standing outside. She was wearing an oversized jacket over a short skirt, a small backpack on her shoulders, and holding an insulated lunchbox. Her voice was soft as she asked, Have you eaten? Yeah, I ate. I'd just had instant noodles, but there was no need to tell my ex-wife's best friend that. I was worried about you. You haven't replied to my Douan messages these past 2 days. Bai Ningbing bit her lip, craning her neck slightly past my arm to peek at the trash can in my living room. Oh, I've just been really busy. Busy? What did you have for dinner then? Buddha jumps over the wall, I lied. They make Buddha jumps over the wall flavored instant noodles now? Bai Ningbing stepped forward, standing even closer. I could see the faint pink tint of her contact lenses, soft like cherry blossoms against the clear white of her eyes. I could see the fine downy hairs on her cheeks, beaded with a little sweat, glowing under the living room light. The scent of her hair drifted into my nose. I had to fight the urge to scratch my nose and turn my face away. Look, I made you something. Bai Ningbing opened the insulated lunchbox. Aren't you gonna invite me in? Inside the box was the simplest home cooking, fried 3 shreds. It was a tricky dish, tender shredded meat tossed quickly with blanched carrot and potato shreds, stir-fried over high heat with scallions, full of that perfect wok hei. It was my favorite dish, the one I hadn't had since I got too busy with work. Oh, come in. I stepped aside and let her in. She took the dishes out one by one. Stir-fried 3 shreds, braised pork belly, stir-fried crown daisy greens. Underneath it all, 2 servings of rice. Bai Ningbing slipped off her jacket, revealing a thin tank top underneath, and plopped down on the sofa. Oog, I'm beat. You have any idea how heavy this lunchbox was? I bet, I said, deliberately not looking at her. She was being way too bold. Right now. I fixed my eyes on the food instead. You put a lot of work into this, huh? You noticed? Come on. Eat while it's hot. Right, let's eat. How are we supposed to eat without chopsticks? I hurried to the kitchen to get them. I was a healthy young guy, and I'd only just blown off steam a couple days ago. If I hadn't, I'd be in real trouble. Right now. Bai Ningbing giggled behind her hand at how flustered I was, then pulled a few cans of beer out of her backpack. Oh, they're not cold. Warm beer's no good, I grumbled. Wait here, I'll run downstairs and get some cold ones. I was just about to head out when Bai Ningbing pulled 2 frozen ice cups out of her bag. Come on, sit down. Let's talk. You here to talk Su chinking into me? My face went cold. I'm here to talk me into you. After saying that, Bai Ningbing grew shy. She stared at her lap, eyes squeezed almost shut, and forced the words out through her teeth. What? What do you think of me? What do I think of you? I froze for a second. Then it hit me. She was Su Chinking's best friend. So what was I even being shy for? Glancing once as polite. Staring the whole time as just being consistently polite. I adjusted my posture and said, be specific. What kind of opinion do you want to hear? About your character. I let out a cold laugh. My character? You're Su Chinking's best friend. What do you think your character's like? Don't tell me you haven't been putting ideas in her head making her like this. Bai Ningbing's eyes welled up at once. How can you say that about me? When have I ever said a bad word about you? Do you have any idea how long I've liked you? That threw me off. Would she have turned out like this if no one was whispering in her ear? Bai Ningbing tore open the frozen cup and poured beer into it. The sudden cold made the foam surge up, then fizzle out, releasing a crisp, weedy aroma. That calmed me down a little. I nodded for her to go on. She's always been like this. She just finally met her director Lin, that's all. Back in college, didn't she love bringing you around to hang out with us girls? That much was true. Even when there was no reason, she'd make me walk all the way across campus just to bring her a bottle of water. It was because you were good looking, in good shape. You made her look cool in college. She brought you along just to show you off. I stroked my chin. Fair enough. I've always been good looking. Even now, working full time, I still work out regularly. But after graduation, once one of our dorm mates married a bureau chief's son, she stopped talking about you. That was about 4 or 5 months after we graduated. That jogged my memory. I just made probation, finally had a little breathing room. Was gonna take it easy for a while, but she kept picking fights with me for no reason. I should have been able to relax back then, but I was exhausted all the time. I started messing up simple tasks, almost made my boss doubt my ability, almost gave up on me. But half a year later I got promoted, and then we got married. Seeing me lost in thought, Bai Ningbing went on. Then later, when a cousin of mine married a CEO's son, she started complaining about me non-stop. Said you were unambitious, stuff like that. I never once agreed with her when she badmouthed you. I just stared at her. Bai Ningbing looked a little guilty. Okay, fine, I said a few things, but not many. I shifted in my seat and kept watching her. Alright. I just said Su Chinking was really pretty, and that you'd gotten lucky, that you'd only landed her because you saved her. Stuff like that. Bai Ningbing deflated, picking at her food with her head down. So you quit your job, moved to Zhongcheng, and just waited for me to get divorced? Bai Ningbing nodded so fast her head bobbed.
Yes. If Su Chinkin hadn't been dragging me around these past 2 days, I would have come to see you that same day. What's she doing now?
No idea. She rented a place near her office and moved in. Bai Ningbing looked at me. You don't still have feelings for her, do you? Of course not. Then show me your divorce certificate. Who came up with this anyway? Putting a single man and woman alone together is like putting dry tinder next to an open flame. When I woke up that morning and saw the rumpled sheets, the bloodstains, and Bai Ningbing sleeping soundly beside me, I was flooded with regret. We hadn't talked that much, hadn't drunk that much either. We'd just talked and cried. She cried first, about how her feelings had never been noticed. Then I cried about how my heart had been thrown away. Then we wiped each other's tears. First with our sleeves, then right on each other's chests. She wiped mine, I wiped hers. And then, one thing led to another. Bai Ningbing slowly opened her eyes, then suddenly laced her fingers through mine. Hold me. I can feel sorry about this later. ... I sat up, my head full of regret. I looked at Bai Ningbing, sleeping happily with her arms around my waist. Just got rid of one, and now there's another. Oh well, what's done is done. I'll go get breakfast first. When I got back with breakfast, Bai Ningbing was already up. She'd washed up and tied her hair back simply, showing off her slender, pale neck. We sat across from each other at the table eating breakfast face to face. Bai Ningbing sipped her soy milk, humming little amused laughs under her breath. What are you laughing about? I can barely believe it. Bai Ningbing rested her elbows on the table, her chin in her hands, gazing at me. It's actually real. We're together. I'm finally with you. I never dared to hope for this. It feels like a dream. Bai Ningbing's eyes crinkled into smiles as she talked, her head swaying happily. I'd never felt this kind of warmth before. I didn't know how to react, so I just stared down at my breakfast. Too bad I hadn't bought more breakfast. Soon I had to look up and face her again. Bai Ningbing today. Gee, call me something else? Bai Ningbing reached over, took my hand and gave it a little shake. It was too much for me. I'd asked Su Chinking to call me that so many times and she'd always refused. It was too much for me. I'd asked Su Chinking to call me that so many times and she'd always refused. I glanced at Bai Ningbing and saw she'd turned. Her face away too, her cheeks bright red. Bing bing. What are your plans for today? Are you kicking me out? Binding looked up at once, eyes wide with alarm. No, just asking. I squeezed her hand back. Her hand was warm, her nails a pretty pale pink. This morning I want to go to the supermarket with you, buy groceries, cook lunch when we get back. This afternoon we can knead dough and make steamed buns, have them for dinner. In the evening we can go for a walk. And then I want to find a job near here. I wanna be with you all the time. Do you think I'm being too easy? Holding my hand had emboldened her. After laying out her plan for the day, she told me what she wanted for the future. Of course not. Let's spend the day together today. Tomorrow we'll move you in. I agreed almost before I knew it. I couldn't tell if I was taking pity on her, or if fate was taking pity on me. Binging had overestimated how much she could walk. She could barely move, so we ordered groceries on Hema. I cooked lunch, and she rested in the bedroom. When I carried the food into the room, her eyes lit up at the sight of me in an apron. Wow, Koog. You look so handsome. Such husband material. Eat up. I hurried out of the room flustered. After lunch we curled up for a nap. By afternoon Bingbing was feeling much better, so we made dough and wrapped steamed buns together. Koog, can you knead the dough for me? Wow, you're so strong, Gooj. You knead it so well. Bingbing gently wiped a smudge of flour off my face. She looked so happy, like a little deer, that I couldn't help leaning in to kiss her. Her lips were warm and soft, trembling a little, like a warmed segment of tangerine. It reminded me of the tiny sugar oranges we set by the charcoal stove during Lunar New Year. Just as warm, just as sweet. We got close so fast. In less than a month we were already as comfortable as an old married couple. The empty spot in my heart left by losing someone was filled up again, gentle and headstrong, cautious and bold all at once. I told myself it was just because our personalities clicked. Bing Bing said it was because she'd replayed this exact scene in her head 1,000 times. So you're an old pro now, huh? I teased. Chuj, stop making fun of me. Knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the door, I asked, confused. Did you order takeout? Bai Ningbing shook her head, just as confused. I opened the door. Su Chinkin was standing outside. She looked thinner, like she was about to say something. Well, if it isn't the millionaire's wife. Came all the way back to see your poor ex-husband? What? Got a get-rich-quick scheme to throw my way? 1. Look at her and I knew things hadn't worked out. Had his wife found out? Or had Director Lin just dumped her? Don't say that. Su Chinkin looked up at me, tears welling in her eyes at once. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I realize I can't get over you. Save the lies. Even a 3-year-old wouldn't buy that. Bing Bing's voice came from behind me. She'd run off to change and fix her hair. She looked perfect now. Her long, straight hair was pulled up into a high ponytail, showing off her sharp jawline. She wore a sports top that hugged her curves, and a short athletic skirt that showed off her long, toned legs. You going to play ball or something? I wondered.
You.
What are you doing here? Su Chinking stared in disbelief. She pointed at Bin Bing. It was you. You set me up. This is all your fault, you little... She never finished the word. I slapped her across the face. Watch your mouth when you talk to my girlfriend. It wasn't a hard slap. I'm not a violent person after all. Su Chinkin held her cheek, staring at me wide-eyed. Don't you get it? She was the one bad-mouthing you behind your back. That's why I asked for a divorce. She said you were useless, unambitious, that's why you threw yourself at Director Lin, right? I cut her off, impatient. No, that's not it. I didn't cheat on you. You have to believe me, I never did anything to hurt you. I laughed at that. So nothing even happened? He has a wife. He didn't want you. You threw yourself at him for a whole month and he didn't even give you the time of day. You knew? You knew he was married and you still let me get divorced? You didn't even try to stop me? Su Chinking's voice cracked and she started crying. Even if I messed up, couldn't you have said something? Juge, let's just ignore this crazy woman. Close the door already. Bin Bing hated it when Su Chinking cried, scared I'd soften up and take her back. Gh. Who said you could call him that? What gives you the right? I won't let you. Su Chinkin screamed and lunged forward. I kicked her hard, knocking her to the ground, then slammed the door shut. Can't let her hurt my girl. Soon there was banging and wailing from outside. I called the police, and they took her away in less than 10 minutes. Did I scare you? I asked, holding Bin Bing close. No, I wasn't scared. You were so fierce back there, Googe. You haven't seen the half of it. Cheers. In a private booth at a fancy restaurant, Bing Bing and I clinked our glasses. The food here was genuinely amazing, and of course pricey too. But it was worth it. It was our first wedding anniversary. 6 months. After my divorce from Su Chinkin, Bing Bing and I got married. Our feelings for each other only grew deeper, and we got along better and better every day. Chooch, there's something I want to talk to you about. Go ahead. I was thinking of quitting my job first. Stay home, cook for you, take care of you. Oh? What brought this on? Did someone give you a hard time at work? I squeezed Bing Bing's hand. She shook her head. I can see you're at a crucial point for that promotion. These days you're either working late at the office or studying when you get home. You barely get a hot meal. That job only pays $4,000 a month and makes you work overtime all the time. I can always get another one like that. I'd rather quit for now and look after you. I'll go back to work once you get the promotion. Bin Bing, are you sure about this? Won't this set back your career? Bin Bing picked up a piece of meat and set it on my plate. Career? It's just a side job to help with expenses, barely enough to get by. It's not a real career. If you do well, we both do well. What more could a man ask for in a wife? I couldn't help pulling her closer to rest her head on my shoulder. Excuse me, your dish is here. This is peach gum stewed with premium bird's nest. Premium bird's nest is the finest grade of bird's nest. Paired with peach gum, it's a classic nourishing dish from the Kyoto region. A familiar voice came from behind me. I looked up. It was Su Chinking. She looked all right now. She seemed to be taking work seriously. Waiting tables at a fancy place like this, she must be making decent money, getting by okay. Hi. The word surprised even me. Is that really all you say when you run into someone you never think about after all this time? Good evening. Su Chinking seemed much calmer and more mature too. She bowed slightly. Would you like me to tell you more about this dish? No thanks. Food's just for eating, right? Binjing acted like she didn't know her and didn't care, but her hand was already pinching my waist. That's enough. You can go now. Binbing was getting annoyed that Su Chinking wouldn't leave. Su Chinking hesitated for a moment, then spoke to me anyway. I wanted to apologize, but you both blocked me, and I didn't have the face to come find you. We don't need your apology. Tell you what, that group buy meal at the Western restaurant cost me 550 yuan. Pay your half, and we'll call it even, okay? Binjing was getting more and more anxious. She didn't want her precious first anniversary ruined. Su Chinking finally snapped. She pointed at Binbing. Bai Ningbing, don't push your luck. I should be the one sitting there, not you. Binbing stood up, hands on her hips. Keeg was always meant to be my husband. I'm his real wife. You just got lucky and got to be his ex-wife for a while. Su Chinking went pale. She had no comeback. I cut in sharply. That's enough. Get your manager over here. After we left the restaurant, Bingbing clung to my arm, chattering non-stop about how lucky we'd been, the delicious food, the manager comping our whole meal, saving all that money, and how she'd even gotten her 550 yuan back from the ex-wife. Looking at how happy she was, I said without thinking, once I get this promotion, let's have a baby. Binjing leaned in close, so close her eyes filled most of my vision, and asked, so if you don't get the promotion, you don't want a baby with me? Su Chinkin admired her married superior and despised her husband for being content with the status quo. She rashly proposed divorce, disregarding their 2-year marriage and her husband's long-term dedication. Only when her illusion shattered and she had nowhere to turn did she wake up and try to make amends. But she was already turned away. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing, who had always cared about the hero silently, healed him with sincerity and tenderness. The two understood each other and loved each other mutually, gaining a stable, happy marriage and a thriving life. This story warns us never to abandon true affection out of vanity and comparison, nor take a partner's tolerance and dedication for granted. Vain admiration can never compare with steady companionship, and a good relationship requires mutual cherishing. Only by knowing when to cut losses and distinguishing sincere feelings can we hold the happiness that truly belongs to us.